How's it going today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about the 5 simple steps that you need to follow in order to achieve financial freedom. Now, a lot of people way overcomplicate this, and it causes people to think that this is impossible. They're never going to be able to achieve financial freedom or improve their financial situation. And so what I'm going to do in this video is break it down into 5 very simple and actionable steps that you can follow if you're looking to improve your financial situation and eventually, reach a point where you are financially free, meaning that you aren't necessarily focused on money as your sole issue or sole factor when deciding whether or not you want to do something. Now, this lesson right here is something that is not taught in school. I guess they are too busy teaching, geometric proofs and teaching you English as an English speaker to be able to show you these basic financial skills. And so this is a very important lesson, and if you guys have not learned it before, make sure you guys share this with somebody else so they can figure this out as well and learn these important lessons. But number one, the very first thing you have to do if you're looking to improve your financial situation, reach financial freedom, or get out of debt is look at your current financial situation. Now, the best comparison I can make here is thinking about, let's say your goal was to lose weight. Well, we know if you want to lose weight, you have to eat healthier foods and you have to have regular exercise throughout the day. But why is it that you are doing that? The reason why you are doing that is because you need to burn more calories than you are consuming. So if you're eating 5,000 calories a day and you're only burning 4,000 or 3,000, well, everybody knows that you're going to gain weight. And so trying to improve your financial situation without actually looking at the numbers is like trying to lose weight without looking at the calories you're burning or how many calories you're eating. You're just gonna go out there and eat whatever you feel like, and you're gonna exercise whenever you want to, and you're not gonna track anything, and you're gonna hope to lose weight. So anybody who's done that before knows that you're not going to lose a damn pound as a result of doing that because you are not tracking your results and tracking how much you're eating. And just the same, you need to be tracking your financial expenses and your income in order to make sure that you are, saving money every single month or not, living paycheck to paycheck or going into debt. So the method of doing this, you guys can do this on Excel. You can do this just like this on a lined piece of paper. And all you're going to do is you're going to start by looking at the last 3 months. And before you go out there and say, oh, I don't know how much money I'm spending. Well, most of us, especially young people, are using debit cards or credit cards for all of our purchases. And you can access, in some cases, 6 months or more of data. So there's no excuse about not being able to find how much money you're spending because it's all there for you, unless you're somebody who spends 100% cash, which is not going to be most people, especially among the millennials. So I recommend looking at the last 3 months of data. If you want, you can go beyond this, which is going to be even more beneficial. And what you're looking at is how much income you're making, your income from all sources after taxes, minus your expenses. Now, we typically have 2 types of expenses out there. Number one, we have our recurring monthly expenses that are often non-discretionary, which simply means we cannot change them. This is things like your mortgage or your rent or your utility bill, things like that are fixed monthly expenses that are around the same amount each month that you really can't change. And then we have discretionary expenses. That's things like going out to the movies, dining, entertainment, bars, alcohol. Those are expenses we have control over. And if you want to take this one step further, you can branch out and separate your discretionary versus your non-discretionary expenses, which is ultimately going to help you figure out where you can do some trimming. And all you're going to do is do the math here. You take your income and you subtract your expenses, and simply by doing that math, it's going to tell you if you have positive monthly cash flow, meaning you're making more than you are spending, if you have basically breaking even paycheck to paycheck where every dollar you earn, you're spending it, or in the worst case scenario, you have negative monthly cash flow and you are spending more than you are earning. So let's say in November, you earned $3,000 post-tax and you had $2,400 in expenses. Well, you were positive $600 that month. Now, December, a lot of people have higher expenses, they're discretionary expenses because of Christmas shopping and holiday spending. So let's say you earned again $3,000, but you spent $3,800, meaning you were negative $800 that month. And then in January, let's say it was the same exact expenses as November and you were positive $600. That is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to look at the last 3 to 6 months of data and determine whether or not your income is exceeding your expenses. And if it's not, there's absolutely no way I can help you at this point. Steps 2 through 5 are totally irrelevant if you are not making more money than you are spending. So that is your first goal, is to figure out how to cut down on those expense items and get yourself in a situation where most months, if not all months, you are cash flow positive. So if you've accomplished that and you've already determined that you are cash flow positive on most months, if not all months, step number 2 is to eliminate bad debt. Now, not all debt is bad, and you can be responsible with credit card usage by paying off your cards at the end of every month. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about any credit card debt you have, or student loans or medical bills. You need to start getting these paid off before you begin investing in other areas. So there's 2 different methods that people typically follow with this. Number 1 is to simply pay off the highest interest debt first. And financially, that is what makes the most sense. That debt is the most expensive. You're paying the highest interest rate, and you want to pay back those amounts first. But option number 2 is simply to pay off the lowest balances first. And the reason behind that is psychologically, it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something to eliminate a piece of debt entirely, and that's going to get the snowball going. A lot of people call that the debt snowball. I believe that's Dave Ramsey's method there that he talks about a lot, is starting with the lowest dollar amount first, because that's going to make you feel like you're accomplishing something. So if you had these debts here, for example, let's say you had a Best Buy credit card with $900 on it at 18%, a Walmart credit card with $500 at 19.5%, a Discover card with $2,000 on it at 25%, and then you have some medical bills from some dental procedure, $4,000 at 11%, and then you have student loans, $50,000 at 8%. What order would you do this in? Well, if you were following the strategy of highest interest debt first, you would start with your Discover card, because that is the highest interest that you are paying across all of your debts. But if you're following, the debt snowball approach and paying the lowest balance first, you would knock off that Walmart card, because that's going to be the easiest one. And so what you're looking to do is pay off the high interest debt that you have. And then the only forms of debt that I can understand not paying off immediately before following these next steps would be your mortgage, because that's typically 3 to 4% interest. If you have a low interest auto loan or low interest student loans. You don't necessarily have to be debt free before investing, but you want to make sure that your high interest debt is paid off. It doesn't make sense to be investing money earning an 8% return, meanwhile paying out 25% to somebody else. Your goal here is to pay off your high interest debt first, and then step number 3, which we're going to talk about soon, is going to eliminate that future need to go into debt through the use of credit cards. Okay, so the third thing you're going to do after your high interest debt is under control, your credit cards are paid off, is you're going to put $1,000 in a separate savings account. Now you might be asking me, why don't I just put this in the savings account that I have, or the checking account that I have? And that is because you want this to be a separate amount of money, because this is called your emergency fund. It should not be confused with your savings account or your checking account. This is your emergency fund that you're only going to dip into in a dire emergency. Basically, what this would be used for is things like an emergency car repair, some kind of medical bill that comes up out of nowhere, unexpected expenses that you were not able to plan for. That is when you would use your emergency fund. This is not for Black Friday spending, Christmas shopping, that trip to Cancun. This is for dire emergencies only, and that is why it needs to be in a separate account that you don't have easy access to. Now, as far as what account, personally, I'm a fan of Ally Bank. I know a lot of people are using that. I have my slush fund, my emergency fund with Ally Bank, and they're currently paying out a 2.2% yield on that account, which is a lot better than traditional banks. Now, I am going to link up all these resources down below. I'm not affiliated with Ally Bank. I don't get any kind of kickback. I just think it is a great product and an awesome option for where you're looking to place that emergency fund. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna start with $1,000 because ultimately your goal is to build up an emergency fund that's gonna cover 6 months of expenses. So in case, let's say for example, you lost your job tomorrow, you would be able to cover 6 months of your living expenses without going into debt. Now that right there, for most people, that could take them 2 or 3 years to save up that amount of money. And if I told you to do that today, you'd be extremely overwhelmed and most people would not even try to do that. But if I'm simply encouraging you to get $1,000 in a separate savings account, most people can accomplish that in a relatively short period of time. And then over time, they can build into that larger savings amount that's gonna cover their 6 months of expenses. So that is step number 3. Step number 4 for financial freedom is to begin investing for your future. And one of the easiest ways to do this, and the overlooked ways, is your employer-sponsored 401k, and particularly the employer match. So not all companies are going to offer this, but a lot of companies still do, especially, the Fortune 500 companies, and that is where they're going to match your contributions to your 401k up until a certain dollar amount. So let me use myself for an example here. When I used to work a job, I'm a full-time YouTuber now, but when I used to work a job, I worked for the local power utility in the Northeast, and they had a employer-sponsored 401k through Vanguard, and they also offered a company match. Now the policy for the company match was they would match 50% of what you contribute up to 3%. So that means if I contributed 2%, they would match it up to 1%. If I contributed 4%, they would give me another 2%. And then if I contributed 6%, I could max out that 3% match that they would do. So as soon as I was able to contribute to my 401k, I personally contributed 6% and my employer matched it 50% for the other 3%, meaning that 9% of all of my pre-tax income was going into my 401k. So just how much money was this? Well, at the time, I was earning a salary of $65,769. Basically, as a utility planner, I would plan out the overhead power line construction. So my contribution from my salary was 6% of my pre-tax income, or $3,946. Now my employer would match half of that contribution, which was 3% of my annual salary, at $1,973. And that right there is free money that most people are not taking advantage of. If your employer is offering a 401k match and you're not taking advantage of it, you are literally saying no to free money that they are offering people that some people, they don't understand this concept and they don't understand that they want to be saving and investing for their future, so they don't even bother with this. Now you might be asking me, well, why don't I make that 10 or 20% of my pay going into your 401k? And while that is a good option for some people, not all 401k plans are created equally. So if you're going to contribute more than what your employer is going to match, I would definitely encourage you to do some more research on your 401k plan and what kind of fees are involved, because all 401k plans are not created equally. But 3 of the ones that are typically good are Vanguard, Charles Schwab, and Fidelity. So if you are one of those plans or one mentioned on that top 10 list down in the description below, it's probably a good plan, but I would definitely recommend doing some more research. And then number 5, the 5th step to follow here is to open up a fee-free Roth IRA. Now, a lot of people are not familiar with what a Roth IRA is or the difference between, a Roth IRA and a 401k. And the difference is with a 401k, you are putting away money that you have not paid taxes on, and eventually when you reach retirement age and you decide to withdraw from that account, you have to pay taxes on that money. A Roth IRA, on the other hand, is a type of retirement account. It's separate from one offered through your employer, and what you are doing is you're putting away money that you've already paid taxes on. So you take your post-tax income, you invest it in this account, but then the beauty of this is it is completely tax-free as long as you dip into it after you reach retirement age. So basically, it comes down to whether you want to pay a large tax bill later or a small tax bill now, and the Roth IRA allows you to pay taxes now and not pay taxes later. So what most people would recommend is to invest in Vanguard index funds. They also have TDFs, which are target date retirement funds, which basically, as you get older and closer to retirement, it's going to reallocate that portfolio to have less and less risk as you get older, because you don't want to be exposing yourself to massive amounts of risk as you're closer to retirement. And as far as my recommendation goes, one of my favorite platforms for Roth IRAs and retirement accounts is M1 Finance. I have a link for M1 Finance down in the description below. It is an affiliate link. You guys don't have to use it if you don't want to, but understand that your use of my link helps to support this channel and allows me to make more videos like this. So M1 Finance is a great platform for retirement accounts, in my opinion, for these reasons. Number one, it is completely fee-free. You are not paying any kind of fees to M1 Finance. Number two, they offer dozens of professionally built portfolios, so you're not flying blind. You're not going in there trying to figure out how to allocate a portfolio from scratch. You can use one of their pre-built portfolios, and they also offer those TDFs, those target date funds, where you simply put in the year that you wish to retire, and then they're going to allocate that portfolio accordingly. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what that looks like. We're going to open up the M1 Finance app on my phone. The other reason why I like M1 Finance is because it's 100% automated. You can automate your monthly contributions towards your retirement account, and you can basically just set it and forget it. And the fourth reason is there's a very low minimum to get started, just $500 for an M1 Finance retirement account. Now, the reason why you're going to do this is because you are shelling away your money tax-free, and there are, limitations on how much you can contribute towards this account. In 2018, it was $5,500, but they're actually increasing that to $6,000 per year from 2019 forward. And if you are 50 or older, you can actually contribute an additional $1,000 into that account per year in part of a catch-up period. So it's not a huge amount of money, but you're able to put away money tax-free and allow yourself to experience decades of compound interest without paying taxes. So I want to give you guys an example here of how much money this could honestly make you over a long period of time by talking about the tax return. What do most of us do with our tax refund or tax return? A lot of us just throw it into our savings account and spend it on who knows what, or we go on vacation, or we go to the mall and just buy a bunch of random crap that we don't need. But what if instead of spending that tax refund, you took your tax refund, put it into a Roth IRA? What would that potentially look like for you? Well, first of all, the average refund that somebody gets here in the United States is around $2,000 to $3,000. So we're gonna go right down the middle and say you're getting a tax refund of $2,500 every single year when you file. So instead of spending that on useless crap that you don't need, let's say you put that into a Roth IRA and you were earning a return of 8% per year. Now, historically, the stock market has paid around 10% per year, and we're going to subtract 2% to account for inflation. So your actual return would be around 8% over a very long period of time. You might not see that every single year, but if you look at decades of historical data, those returns are what you would see with the stock market. So if you invested your tax return every single year, $2,500 at an 8% return from age 20 to 65, and assuming that your tax return didn't increase over time, just $2,500, by the time you were 65, you would have $966,248.58 of tax-free money. You do not have to pay taxes on that money. You've grown your money for 45 years, and you've essentially become a tax-free millionaire by investing your tax refund every single year into a Roth IRA. And this is just one of those tax loopholes and rich people's secrets that you just don't hear about unless you are actively looking for them. Hopefully you have a good tax accountant who is aware of these strategies and has encouraged you to do this. But this is one of those wealth building secrets out there that unfortunately you are just not learning in school. So like I said, guys, M1 Finance is a great option for this Roth IRA. I'm gonna show you guys just how simple it is to set this up. I'm gonna open up my phone now and show you. And if you guys do wanna sign up, there is an affiliate link down in the description if you decide to use it, as well as a couple of more resources that talk more about the M1 Finance retirement accounts. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the M1 Finance app on my phone. And I already have a portfolio created in here. So what I wanna show you guys is if you had a brand new account here from scratch, how you would go ahead and set up a portfolio for retirement. It is extremely easy. You'd go over here to your pies you would add a new pie or portfolio, and then you're going to go ahead and hit that plus button, and you're going to go to Expert Pies, which are these professionally built portfolios, and select your plans for retirement. As you can see here, it says invest for your target retirement date in a portfolio that adjusts to your goals as you age. So as you get older and closer to retirement, that portfolio becomes more and more conservative. And all you're going to do is click on that, and down here you say, I would like to retire in, and you simply pick the year. So for myself, I'm around 25 years old. I turn 24 next month. And so ideally I would retire in about 40 years. So let's say 2060. At this point, you have three choices: aggressive, conservative, or moderate, and this all comes down to your risk tolerance. If you are fearful of the stock market and of risk, you would choose a conservative portfolio. If you have a high risk tolerance, you would choose aggressive. And if you're somewhere in the middle, that would be a moderate portfolio. And you can click on each of these to learn more about these portfolios, what the returns have been over the last couple of years, and exactly what they're investing your money into. But you could literally follow this strategy doing exactly that and be investing money into a Roth IRA tax-free to eventually, achieve financial freedom for yourself. And you could simply just be investing your tax refund and potentially become a millionaire following this strategy. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. These are the 5 simple steps to financial freedom. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you are following any of these strategies yourself, or if you have any other tips or recommendations. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.